What's up, my friends? It's C-Threep here with a really simple tip on helping you come up with a couple of ideas of how you can transition from one part of your song to the next while you're mixing the song. So let's say you've recorded something and it sounds good in your head the way that you're recording it or playing it, or maybe you're in a band and you're all playing it together and it sounds good, but then you sit down and start listening to it as you're trying to mix the song, and as you notice, so in this example, chorus transitioning into the bridge, maybe there's something lacking, or maybe it just doesn't sound very interesting, or it doesn't have the impact that you want it to have. So one way that we can change that up is by cutting out some of the instruments and letting the next part that comes in have a little bit more impact because the other instruments were missing for a half a second or a full second or something before that transition happens. Or maybe what you need is to not cut out the instruments, but to have like cymbals in reverse building up and crescendoing as the transition happens, something like that. This also applies to like dance music and techno music. I've got live instruments that I've recorded here, but there can just be some awkwardness in some of the transitions. So let's hear what this example here of the song, the second verse heading into the bridge as it sits right now.
Oh, bring me back to consciousness.
In my opinion, it doesn't have a whole lot of impact as it goes from that, as the singing tails off and it heads into the bridge. It just kind of happens. It feels like something's maybe missing, and something was missing when I originally made the song, so I added this little effect called build up drums. That's what I call that. Basically, it's like a reverse cymbal. So if you were to record someone hitting a cymbal with a drumstick and reverse that sound, it would have this build up effect and crescendo, and then you can just line that up with the part that transitions into the next part. So I added something like that. So here it is now. So you hear this? That's an effect that I happen to have on my computer, but you can just get that effect by, again, recording. You can even go like this, record psh, and just reverse it and maybe add a couple of effects to it, and that could actually work. So idea number one is adding some kind of high-pitched cymbal sound that starts out quiet and gets louder and crescendos to kind of fill in any awkward gaps as that transition happens from one part of your song to the next. The other idea is to maybe scale things back. Maybe what the song needs is to, so in this part the guitar's kind of ringing out a little bit and nothing too exciting's happening during this little half second of transition, and then the bridge just comes in. So maybe what we need to do is cut back on the instrument so it's just really like almost like everything stops for a moment, and then when the bridge comes in it just explodes a little bit more. So let's mess with that. I've got a little drum, really simple drum fill. Bum, bum, bum. So maybe we'll just stop on the snare and get rid of the toms. And let's get rid of that build up drum cymbal sound that we had, since we're trying to make it even more dry with a little break. Not quite there. You can still hear the guitar. So maybe we need to cut out that guitar. Okay, and there's still some bass in there. Made this song before I had a real bass, so I just used a MIDI bass. Okay, so you see where I'm going with that? So just kind of a little break from most of the instruments for a brief moment lets that bridge coming in be a little more impactful. There's a few more things maybe I could do with that, and add a few more cymbals or something, so when it does come back in on the bridge, it explodes even more. maybe add a second electric guitar that's hitting the chords and pan it to the other side, so that it feels more powerful when it comes back in. But I think you get the point of what I'm trying to do there. So there's 2 simple ideas. Try those out as you are listening to your songs, mixing your songs. If the transitions don't quite feel right, or they don't have the impact that you want, then try messing around until you get something that makes the song exciting. You always want the song to be engaging and exciting as it moves from one part to the next. And that's it.